All right, here's what I'm seeing today to start the week. We had a nice couple of days last week. I guess the whole of last week was a good pull-up. I did just notice on this harmonic pattern indicator that we have formed an 8-2 on the daily. There's been 14 total ever on the daily. 4 of them have stopped out. That means that 10 of them have reached target 1 or better. So that's a 68% chance to hit 404. I wouldn't jump in immediately on it. I'd like to see a cool off pullback, maybe a divergence on the money flow. But we've got a very good chance of hitting this level. And if we hit this level, I don't see a reason why we don't test 410, which was this low here. We should at least bang against that. But that's a lot of room up. And that leads me to BTC, my insanity autism chart here. With BTC, volume dropping off sharply, but a huge divergence on the money flow. Huge divergence. You could do this multiple ways. You could draw a trend line across here and the breakout, or you could just look at the peak and see how much we've turned up. The one thing that's kind of making me hesitant about being short on BTC right now is that it seems like the consensus is like everybody thinks we've got a leg down or at least a pullback to retest these levels. Everybody, all the people that thought we were taking off here are now leaning towards this move, quick rollover, whatever. When everybody thinks that, it's not a good sign that it's going to happen. People are going to start trying to get into long or get into shorts. They're going to exit their positions, and it's going to be much easier to blow through, especially if SPY pulls up to these levels. You know, if we have another pump, another $10 pump today on SPY, or even a rollover, pullback, test these levels, and sometime Wednesday, Thursday, we pump to 404, BTC is going to crash through. Another thing to keep in mind, you throw it on the 4 to just kind of get a look at it, is as volumes dropped off here, we had this higher high, this little breakout and an immediate sell-off. But for all the people that closed their longs and just generally sold or entered shorts here, they weren't rewarded. You know, this pullback, this catch, the bulls fought very well right here. And we pulled up. They're just on a psychological level. People won't have their exits for longs here, or excuse me, their exits for longs here. They won't necessarily be selling the next break of it because they weren't rewarded on the last time. They didn't get this move. They got a much smaller move. And it could be said that this is healthy in a way because it's consolidation at the top. Not a lot of volume, but volume oftentimes doesn't matter on Bitcoin. And so you just got to be very, very careful here because a pop out to this level is extremely likely. With that being said, we do have a nice head and shoulders plan out. Now, the last time we pulled down here from this top when all those sells triggered, the bulls defended this level extremely well. It was just wick after wick after wick, and every time it would dump, I'll put it on the 5 so we can see what was happening here. Every time you'd have a high volume dump, they would catch it. Dump, catch. and then they sprung out, reclaimed this trend line, and here we are. I'm just playing BTC very, very carefully right now. I drew a new fib from, I've got a fib drawn from this low to this high, and we've rejected the 236 there. So a pullback to the 382 to the 0.5 seems somewhat likely. The real fib I'm looking at is the one from the very low to the very top here, because there's decent money to be made with a pullback to the 382 or the 0.5. Gosh, you feel like the 0.5 is inevitable, but a pump by SPY and we can easily just pop through here, come grab this 22.6ish. So trade carefully. There's also, I've got my trend line, my diagonal trend line on the daily running here, and that's one to watch. If we start trickling down, I expect price to maybe catch there and hold. But yeah, that's what I'm seeing right now. I do know that on the hourly, where we have this head and shoulders playing out, we just had a bit of a curl up. You know, we kind of went on that, it looks parabolic on the money flow. I'd like to see where this pullback comes in. Yeah, be careful.